Hello and welcome back to Fenton Anime Plays Baldur's Gate 3. I'm your host Fenton. In this Baldur's Gate 3 build video, we're doing the Death Stalker, Archer, Ranger, Gloom Stalker, and with a combination of Rogue Assassin build. As always, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Baldur's Gate 3 builds like this. Do not forget to hit notification bell so be updated and much more. Here are the pros and cons of this build. So when you do surprise attacks, your attacks will always do critical hits when it lands. That's a lot of damage. Number 2, you got Dread Ambusher for 1 round. And if you combine that with surprise attacks, you will own everything in sight. You might even end the battle before it starts. Another thing as well is if enemies are if you're ahead of enemies on the turn, you do extra damage. Your range DPS is really nice. Now, cons, only thing I'm going to say a few things. You can lose Dread Ambusher after 1 round. And if you don't get surprise attack, yeah, it'll hurt you as well. And this build will also start to shine when your character level 8. So let's go ahead with the character creation first. Now, a few things I'm going to go ahead and go over. This is a multi-class build, so if you're playing on the lowest difficulty that's not balanced and above, you're not going to be able to do this build. Yeah, no multi-classing at all. Now, here's the deal. You can use your origin characters custom, or you use Asteron. Another good person with this is actually Mince as well. Let's go over the races, shall we? First thing we're talking about is the Elven races. So, base racial speed movement is 9 meters per turn. That's very good. Now, Elven weapon training, that includes long swords and long bows, plus short swords and bows. Longbow is your secondary weapon with this build. Now, dark vision, you can see up to 12 meters in the dark. That is really nice. Fate Ancestry, advantages on save throws against being charmed and cannot be magically put to sleep. That's about 2 crowd controls that usually hinders you. You don't have to worry about that. Now, I'd say High Elf if you're doing Asteron, since you're forced to it. But a good race with this is the Wood Elf, because it add 1.5 movement speed. That's meters for movement speed. So instead of 9, it's 10.5, which gives you a lot more movement. You definitely need it for this build. So let's see here on my list. Let's talk about the Drow. Dancing Light, this is used to illuminate areas, spot stealthers and such, and troll enemies as well. Now, base racial speed, that's 9 meters just like their elven cousins. Now, the next thing I'm going to just only touch up on is, you guessed it, Drow weapon training is the hand crossbows. That's going to be your main weapon. Even though when you do get a certain feat, yeah, you'll be able to use them anyways. Superior dark vision, you can see up to 24 meters in the dark. That's better than your elven cousins there. Really nice. And as like the elven cousins, you get a Fate Ancestry, which gives you advantage on saving throws against being charmed and cannot be magically put to sleep, which is good. Now, yeah, Lothsworn or the other one. It depends on how you role play. However, during conversations with certain characters, that'll definitely get out. So let's go to the next race, humans. Yeah, your average people like you and me, folks. 9 meters, that's your base racial speed. That's your movement per round, which is good. Now, the other one I'm going to say is next is Mass Civil Militia. Gives you light, medium, light, and shields, plus I say peasant weapons like spears, pikes, and halberds and glaives. This one's most important. Human versatility. You get an additional skill so you can pick for your proficiency. This is really nice. And if you're playing Minsk, that'll be a good advantage. Let me go ahead and show you all that at this time. Where is it at? There we go. Let's go ahead and just set things up. There, and see, we'll pretend we'll pick our charlatan background. So now you see the one with the human that says 1/1. That's one you get to pick. So for instance, if you decide to do nature, perceptions, or say perception, survival, and nature, you want something else. And then, well, let's see here. You could do something like, for instance, athletics or anything else of the matter acrobats. In other words, you'll fill a nice space in. I'm just demonstrating this real quick. I'm just showing that. Yeah, you do stealth, see? Just like that. Simple as easy. Now, next up is the Githyanki. This is the Underdark race. I should say definitely in Baldur's Gate 3, a very good race. Astral knowledge, gain proficiencies in all skills of a chosen ability. So, for example, you need something with Dex up there, you pop this sucker, you have advantage to that. Now, Githyanki has level 0 spell, starts out with Mage Hands. Eventually, they get his Misty Step to teleport around. That's very good. Their base racial speed is 9 meters per turn. which is nice. Now, Martial Prodigy, which gives you medium and light armor, as well as short swords, long swords, and great swords, which is alright, but you're not going to really use melee weapon unless you have to. Next is the Dwarven race, 7.5 per round movement speed. Yeah, that's 7.5 M. That's not bad. Now, Dwarf combat trained, they could use axes and hammers, which is alright. Again, you'll be using more of a bow, or say crossbows. Dark vision, 12 meters in the dark, you see up to. Really good. Dwarven resilience gives you advantage on saving throws against poison, and you have resistance to poison damage, which is nice. The only Dwarven race I like is the Grey Dwarves. Superior dark vision, you see up to 24 meters in the dark. Now, you have advantage on saving throws against illusions, and of course against being charmed or paralyzed. Another thing this game doesn't tell you also is at some point you get is invisibility, which is good, everyone. It's a nice feature for the Grey Dwarves. Next up are the half-elves, just like both their parents. They have 9, meters per round to move, which is good. Their human side, they get Civil Militia, which is blah. Dark vision, they see up to 12 meters in the dark, which is nice since they get their elven side. Also on their elven side, they have advantages on saving throws against being charmed, and cannot be magically put to sleep. Again, 2 crowd control things you get to take care of. Now, I'm going to suggest Wood Elf. That's another good one. Gives you 1.5 movement speed, which is good. And another thing is with the Drow, you're not going to get the dark vision, but instead you get the dancing lights. Plus, among other things, most likely, like, darkness. Halflings, this is a good race for the setup. Base racial speed is 7.5 meters per turn, just like your Dwarven cousins. Lucky, so when you roll 1 for an attack, ability check, or saving throw, you get to do a reroll. Very good, so you don't have to worry about rolling a pesky 1 in case you get unlucky. Now, Brave, you have advantages on saving throws against being frightened, another anti-crowd control thing in your tool shed, or I say toolbox. I'd say probably Lightfoot halflings are the best for this. You have advantages on stealth checks. That's right, folks, stealth checks. So let's talk about gnomes. They're actually good for this too. Base racial speed movement is 7.5 meters per turn. Really good. Gnome cunning, you have advantages on the following type of ability score: saving throws, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, which is good. Very good. So let's go ahead and check out our gnome sub-races. Rock gnomes is what they gain. They can see up to 12 meters in the dark, which is good. Another thing as well is they have double the proficiency bonus on history checks. There's a few of those here and there you see in the game, but still I like to see in the dark one for the rock gnomes, which is nice. Forest gnomes, you get to speak with animals. No more using these potions of speaking animals at all, so that's a good thing to have and keep. And another thing is, again, yeah, they see 12 meters in the dark. Let's talk about the last one is the deep gnomes. They can see 24 meters in the dark, best out of the other 2 gnome sub-races, which is good. And also another thing I love the most for this one is stone camouflage. You have advantage on stealth checks. You'll be stealthy as you want to be. Yeah, you're going to be using light armor until you get a certain point in the game. So I'm going to do half orc. It's another nice alternative one. Base racial speed, which is 9 meters per turn, which is good. Dark vision, see up to 12 meters in the dark. Now, one of the main reasons I pull this one is this relentless endurance. You hit point 0, regain 1 hit point instead of becoming down. So it's like another emergency. After that, you can run away. Now, this next one's melee only, but if you get stuck in melee, this is what happens when you land a critical hit. With a melee weapon attack, you deal an extra dice of weapon damage. So it's like a bad situation you get yourself into. You can't use your archery or something like that. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to probably suggest at this time the elven races. Yeah, wood elf mainly. Another one's good is the drow, definitely humans, and Githyanki. Those are the best, but still up to your own personal preference on that. I'm going to go ahead and select high elf as I'm playing a Steron and respec him again to this setup. Now, Ranger class, they get 2 things, Natural Explorer and, of course, Favoured Enemies, which is good. So let's talk about Natural Explorer. I'm only going to be able to get 2 this time out of the setup for this build instead of 3 like a full Ranger. Eyesight, take Beast Tamer. You have cultivate a strong bond with animals. You can cast Find Familiar without expending a spell slot. This is very good because there's some situations you're going to need a very small animal to get you through things. Favorite enemies, Bounty Hunter, you gain proficiencies, investigation. Creatures you hit with a Snaring Strike have a disadvantage on their saving throws. We'll use that at some time. And if there's ensnare, you get to mess with them, especially you use assassin end of it. Now, backgrounds, this is quite a bit, so I'm going to go over. Charlatan is good because you get deception and sleight of hands, which is really nice. Criminal, you get deception and stealth as well. Another one you get is urchin, which is sleight of hands and stealth. So if you go on the, I say assassin side, those three are good. Now, folk heroes, nice, animal handling and survival, and outlanders, athletics and survival. If you're going to go on the ranger side, go with outlander, otherwise charlatan's the way to go. Now let's go ahead and do the ability scores, and I'm going to go through each of them down the line. Now this is just like my pure ranger build, since I felt like that's the best way to do it. It does combine best of both worlds, so this way you're not going to be able to cast these spells well. You also be able to do some damage as well too. You're going to be a beast in damage. Now strength at 10, we're going to keep that there at the average land. Yeah, that's right folks, strength will be at average, so we'll leave it at that. Another thing is we're going to talk about is dexterity. Dexterity is going to be at 16. That's going to be our main ability score to boost up when we get to levels up. And this time 9 and of course 12. I'll explain that when I'm leveling up. Constitution is 16 for more hit points. So you're going to get a whole bunch of more hit points on that. Intelligence 8, that's going to be our weak spot. In Mince's case, that's fine with him. But still, that's a weak spot. Wisdom 14, so we have some casting abilities for rangers or advantages on our ranger spell casting. And finally, charisma to 10. We'll keep it at average as well. Now, for skills, what we're going to do is at this time, it's eyesight, do stealth for now. Nature and animal handling. I could though is took off stealth and put down survival. But I'm going to be honest with you. Survival's better, but I'll probably say I'm gonna lock it in. Stealth, animal handling, and survival, and that's it. If you want to, you can take off stealth and then put in nature. So this way, when you guessed it, get to our assassin side, I should say, then you'll get stealth and sleight of hands. So those are the best I think it is: survival, animal handling, and stealth. And if you're a human, then do something like perception. So you can detect things and such like that. You're going to start off a little bit slow, but once you get to some certain levels, you're going to do a lot of damage. I mean a lot of damage. So let's go ahead and level up our character. We're going to go ahead and use a Steron as our model for leveling up from 2 to 12. As if you're playing his origin story, you just get him in the party. So first of all, we're going to go ahead and take care of the ranger side for a bit, then we'll switch back to a rogue. And of course ranger to finish things off. I'll explain my madness as we get very close to with that. I will also go over the spells too for those who are new here. And here we go. Animal friendship. This will make an animal ignore you so this way they don't attack you. This is alright crowd control spell, but at some point you're going to see less and less animals. So I'd probably say avoid it. Cure wounds. This will heal you 3 to 10 healing. This is not bad at all. It's a touch healing. You gotta get close, but it's good. Ensnaring strike, your attack summons throwing vines, possibly ensnare your targets. This is really nice. You should pick this one up first. It does range and melee. Fog cloud, cloud that blinds and heavily obscures enemies within it. This is a good spell to drop down and you move back. Good berry heals you for 16 each berry that you get is total 4, which is 1 to 4. I'm going to say healing potions. They're the way to go. That's better than a good berry. Hail of Thorns, this does weapon damage and a plus 1d10 on piercing. This is very nice. If it misses, it still explodes. On save throws, they take half. Good AoE spell, very powerful later on if you decide to use the level 3 slot version of it. Hunter's Mark, this will add 1d6 slashing damage, really useful to mark your enemies. And when you hit them, that's good. If you kill those enemies, then what happens is, of course, you get to do it again. So this is a party favorite. I say pick this one second. Enhanced Leaf triples your creature's jumping distance. I say use the jumping potion. That's better than that. Long Strider. If you need movement speed, this is it. Here it gives you 3 meters movement. It lasts until a long rest. Speak with animal. I'm going to say this now. You get to communicate with animals. Use a potion to speak with animals. That's the best way to go. Pick Ensnaring Strike. That's number 1. And pick Hunter's Mark number 2. That's the best way to go for this level. Fighting style is archery. You get yourself +2 bonus to ranged weapon attacks. Really good. We're going to be using our ranged weapons, or I say hand crossbows. So let's go on. Now we're at level 3 for the ranger class, and we're going to get a lot on this one. So we're going to switch to Gloom Stalker. This is what they do get. Number 1, so when they start their first round, you get a +3 bonus to initiative. Extra attacks. Those attacks do 1d8 damage, which is nice. Now, it works not only for melee, it also works for range as well. And let me tell you, some of it's broken if you have stacks of arrows. Yeah. Just trust me, check out my Gatling Gun Ranger build. That's an archer. Yeah, that is very broken. So let's go ahead and then talk about the next thing we're going to go ahead and go over is Superior Dark Vision. You get 24 meters. So yeah, we do get Dark Vision, which is 12 meters. The spell version, ignore that. That's a good way to go. Dread Ambush or Hide. This is like a hide thing in battle. You get to hide in battle, which are bonus actions. As long as you know to attack or casting a spell to reveal your location. So hide in a very dark place to set yourself up for the next round. Umbral Shroud. This is like the invisibility spell. Use your action for that. Go invisible and then attack your foes like crazy. Now, disguise self's alright. This will abuse the Speak with Dead or disguise yourself, speak with certain NPCs. As for spells, go with Hail of Thorns. That's the best way to go for the level 1 spells. And you can replace them in and out if you want to. You don't like my suggestions, then go ahead and do it before finishing up the leveling process. So let's keep on going. Now we're at level 4. We're still the Ranger class, and we get ourselves a feat. Every 4 levels of said class, we get a feat. So let's go down the list and go ahead and do Sharpshooter. This is the best one we're going to get. We're getting that first. All in range weapon attacks you're proficient with. You have a -5 penalty to attack rolls. However, you deal a bonus 10 damage. Now, there's an item that later on will negate the -5. That's called the Risky Ring. That's your number 1 priority. In fact, I'll tell you on how to get that for this build. And yeah, it's very nice, but still, that's the penalty on that. But still, Risky Ring will counter the attack rolls penalty. See, there you go. Another thing is low ground. Your range attacks do not receive penalties from high ground rules. So you can attack low ground, high ground, no penalties at all. You're a beast. So let's level up the Ranger class of 5, and here we go. Now, dang level 5 Ranger, so we're still going to keep on Ranger Path. This is the last time for a while. We get quite a few things. So we get Misty Step. We get to use that to teleport around to go after runners or get in a position. Extra attack. Instead of 1 attack, now we get 2 attacks per round. With this build, it is really nice. With Dread Ambusher, it's broken. We also get the level 2 spell slots as well. We're only going up to level 2 spells with this build, but that's alright. I'll go over each. Barkskin, this will give you armor class up to 16. I say probably better use a Barkskin potion on that, so pass on it. Now, next one you see is Dark Vision. Hard pass, 12 meters. You have 24 meters yourself. You do not need it. Lesser Restoration, this will cure the following: disease, poison, paralysis, and blindness. If you need to do that, that's good. Pass Without Trace, this give you and your party member plus bonus to stealth checks. Good to have. Really good. Now, next one, this is a nice alternative if you don't want that. Protection from Poison. This will get rid of all poisons on your character. And then it'll also protect you against future poisonous attacks. This is a very good buff spell if you do need it. Next up is Silence, another good alternative. Creates a nice spear. All within it are silence and also immune to thunder damage. This is not bad. Bad news is enemies can move out of the spear. That's the downside of it. Last but not least, Spike Growth. This will do 2 to 8 damage to anybody steps in it for already 1.5 meters, and their movement speed is cut by half. So go with Spike Growth, cast a sucker, enemies try to move towards you. If they can't get to you, well, it's pinging time, big time. Now we got the first 5 levels in Rangers. I'm going to go ahead and say this at this point. I'm going to switch to our Rogue class, get only 4 levels in that, but this will be enough to do a lot more DPS. We got extra attack in, of course, I should say. You guessed it, Dread Ambusher. So we get sneak attacks here. Weapon style, so as long as we have advantage against a foe, as long as we're not a target or have a disadvantage, We could do some extra damage. Now, sneak attack range we use is weapon damage plus 1d6. This is very powerful, folks. I decided to do acrobats. As for expertise, sleight of hands and stealth is the way to go. Sleight of hands, we're going to be summoning a thief in the party, so definitely load up on your stealing equipment. I have 2 rogue videos for that on how to steal with the best gear. Dang, level 7, everyone. Yep, we're getting the good stuff, so we're going to keep it on that. We can switch if we want to, but we're not. Cunning action hide, so this is a bonus action, give us a nice hide. We have to use stealth checks in order to pass it. Still, we'll just hide and set ourselves up to do another attack. Cunning action dash, we can use our bonus action to dash like crazy to move somewhere else, which is good. Last but not least, cunning action disengage. So if any enemies attack us, we disengage and run away. Simple as that. So let's level up more. Now this is our 3rd rogue level, so we get to select our subclass now. And there's a lot of things. Let's get rid of the arcane trickster. Here's assassin. You get about 3 good things, so listen up, everyone. Assassinate initiative. You are deadly against unprepared enemies in combat. You have advantages on attack rolls against creatures that haven't taken a turn yet. So when it's your turn before theirs, you do bonus damage. So any enemies before you, you own it. Assassinate ambush. So if you ambush an enemy, you get them on surprise status. Every hit you do is a critical hit. You do dread ambusher, and if it all lands, you always get a critical hit. You could take out foes quickly and in a hardcore way. And I took out a steel watcher with that. Assassin's a clarity, quick as an alley cat. You immediately restore your action, bonus action at the start of combat. If you already used it up before attack, when you start battle, it refills. Now we're at level 9. This last time we're going to be a rogue, so listen up. We get our feats now. Since we have 4 levels in a rogue, we get ourselves, you guessed it, a feat. Every level is 4 in a class. Ability improvement, put your 2 points in dexterity. Dexterity is going to remain ability stat. It's going to be great for ranged weapon damage and much more. And that's about it for the rogue class. Now we're at the ranger class at level 10. This is what we do get the following. We get 2 things. Favoured Enemy. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and say Magebreaker. We get True Strike, how we're proficient in Arcana, which is very good. That's my main reason to select this. So as for Natural Explorer, I'm going to go ahead and pick this one, Urban Tracker. I like that one because it gives you a nice advantage while you navigate through the city. You also automatically get sleight of hands, but that's all right. Some people pick it early on so they get it right away. So let's go ahead and say this now. We could change spells if we want to, but we are not. Ding, level 11. This time we're still at the Ranger, so we get quite a few things. So listen up, spell slot we get again. And also we get Iron Mind. Now this does you gain proficiencies in Wisdom and Intelligence saving throws. Now if you're a gnome, you tack that on, especially if your intelligence weak. Yeah, you'll boost that up at great time. I'm going to go ahead and select this one. I like this one. Pass without trace. Boost our stealth if we need to in combat. So let's go ahead and level up one more time. Ding, level 12. So we're going to put in their points in the Ranger. So it'll be level 8 Ranger. And this we get Land Stride, difficulty terrain. So difficult terrain no longer slows you down. Very good for this build because you're going to need a lot of mobility, which you do have. Forgot to mention that as an advantage and initiative too. Ability improvement, 2 points in dexterity. So dexterity will be definitely at 20. With that is it from level 2 to 12 with this multi-class build. So let's go ahead and talk about permanent ability score boosts next. In Baldur's Gate 3, there are ways to permanently boost your ability scores. There's one in each act, so I'll explain each of them. In Act 1, if you spare Auntie Ethel, you get a +1 ability score item of your choice. This one's nice in case you do something odd, or if you start out, say, let's get strength, I should say dexterity to 17, that'll even it up. Now, avoid your paladin doing this in case he or she is an Oathbreaker, unless you want to become an Oathbreaker, then that's fine. Now, Act 2, with Steron in your party, have him by Araja on the Moonrise Towers. After you get some other blood too, and she's bitten by a Steron, you get a +2 strength potion. This is actually good if your main character is this build, but if it's someone's like a Steron, and your main character is like a melee fighter, yeah, have that melee fighter drink it instead. But still, this build is a nice setup. I'll make sure I put that there. Act 3, the Mirror Loss. There are 3 possible outcomes, so listen up. The first outcome is you pass the hidden charisma checks. After you pass some intelligent checks like Arcana or Religion. Scenario 1 is after you, of course, you lose your -2 stats of your choice. That's byway, curable by remove curse. You get +1 charisma as a bonus for passing a hidden charisma check, seriously, and +2 stat of your choice. In this build, we're going to go ahead and do dexterity. We'll explain more about that later on. Now, next up is if you don't get the charisma check, you get the +2 stat of your choice. If you're unlucky, you get nothing. So when you do also start first out losing a stat, do not pick the deception one. Shard knows you're lying, you get nothing. That's just a warning. I'll warn it again, though, down the line. And yeah, once again, I'll say again, the negative stat losses are curable by remove curse or greater restoration. So let's go ahead and demonstrate the +2 strength potion. In Act 2, in the Moonrise Towers, our favorite female drow who sells potions and powerful endgame jewelry, you want Asteron to bite her. Yeah, we're having Asteron at this very moment. Go ahead and put his fangs into her. Once you're done with that, then you get the Rachel potion that you did donate blood, and of course a special concoction that is +2 strength. It's permanent. You cannot get rid of it. You drink it up, there's your +2 strength. And voila, see, that's how it's done. So let's go ahead and, of course, talk about the next one, the Mirror Loss. In Act 3, under the House of Grief, so here's the deal. The Mirror Loss, you got to get past some intelligent checks. So once you do, you have to lose a stat. 1 through 6 is the same as the ones you gain. Do not do 7. If you do Deception, Shard knows what you're up to. So let's go over each of them. Number 1, that is +2 strength. Number 2, +2 dexterity. That's one you're aiming for this build. Number 3 is +2 constitution. Number 4 is +2 intelligence. Number 5 is +2 wisdom. And number 6 is +2 charisma. For the loss, I'd probably say you go for wisdom or definitely, I should say, constitution. And then you could cure yourself with that with remove curse. And as always, if you really need help with the Mirror Loss, respect your character with high intelligence and high, of course, charisma. And this way you'll lock things in to get the +2 stat you want. For this build, like I said before, go for, you guessed it, +2 dexterity. You'll get up to 22 dexterity at the max level of 12. That's about it for the Mirror Loss. Let's talk about before and after the permanent stat ability boosts. Now, this is before you actually hit the permanent stat boosters, so here we go. Strength at 10, Dexterity 20, Constitution 16, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 14, and Charisma 10. Now, this is after Strength 12, thanks to the +2 Strength Potion, Dexterity 22, Constitution 16, Intelligence 8, Wisdom 14, and Charisma 10. Now, that's about it for before and after permanent stat boosters. For the next part of this build video, we're talking about is Tadpole Powers. So we're going to go over the Tadpole Powers before and after using the Astral Touch Tadpole. So let's go ahead and start out with the before first. So this is before you decide to use the Astral Tadpole you're given to by you-know-who in a certain act. Favorable beginnings, boosts attack rolls, or give you advantage in dialogues. Now, for this build, the boosts and attack rolls are really nice. Next up is Charm. Prevent a foe attacking you for 1 turn. Now, if a foe's focused on you, you want to make sure you don't have a disadvantage against said foe, and they're coming towards you. And then after it turns up, charm them, and then next time they won't attack you. Next up is Shielded Thralls. Make a shield on you or your allies. That's 10 hit points. When that shield goes bye-bye, any foes around that area will get stunned. This is a good one to use. Stun is always nice. Sonic Backlash. When a foe casts a spell, you do 1d4 damage per caster level. Unfortunately, this gets you out of stealth. However, you damage the spellcasters. Drain ability. An attack you can drain either strength or dexterity at your first attack. Couple that, of course, with, you guessed it, Dread Ambusher, and if you surprise your foe, they're already going to be a heavy disadvantage, which is very good. Now, let's go to the after. Let's go ahead and talk about after you use the Astral Touch Tadpole. Welcome to the dark side of Baldur's Gate 3. Well, I'm joking on that, but still, here we go. Black Hole, OP AoE attack, so this does a lot of damage. I used this in late game, wiped out many foes. Fly, gain the ability to fly around, so if I need to move to another spot to shoot, then that's good. Repulsor, AoE, push back damage, so any foes that surrounds me, I push them back, then I run away. Free cast, next ability, spells or anything else is free of charge to use. If I want to use that invisibility one from the Gloom Stalker, I pop free cast and I use that. Nothing gets used up, then I can use something else. Absorb intellect, gobbles up the foe's intellect, lowers their intelligence by 1 per turn, heals your wounds for 5 turns. The healing is 1d8 hit points for 5 turns. This is a nice get out of jail free healing ability I need to use, and it's good. That's about it for Tadpole Powers. Let's go ahead and talk about Gear of Ice. I decided to split the gear into 2 categories: Gear of Ice by in Act 1, aka before entering the Shadow Curse lands, and in-game gear. Now, if it notes the act, make sure you get the area in said act before moving on, especially the Act 2 gear. So let's go ahead and start by Gear of Ice by the end of Act 1. Let's start with the headgear. Shadow of Mesoranzian, gain the Shrouded in Shadow ability. This is exactly the same as the invisibility spell. So you cast that on you. If you do any action except for movement, it goes bye-bye. Good setup one. Loot it from the Pale Corpse in the Mitochondrial Colony in Act 1. Must help the Mitochondrial Colony for access to the body or slaughter the camp, maybe. I did the help one. That's the best way to go. Here's the alternative. The Haste Helm. Gain momentum for 3 rounds. That's 1.5 movement speed per round. It's very good. Lock chest in the Blighted Village in Act 1. This is where you get it at. Now, next up is the chest pieces and Mantite Scale Mail. This gives you 16 AC. All incoming damage is reduced by 1. Cannot be critical hit upon. When a melee attack hits you, attacker is sent reeling for 2 rounds. In other words, they lose about 2 attack rolls. This is at the Mantite Forge in the Underdark, aka the Grim Forge in Act 1. So you'll have to defeat Grim in order to finish the process of creating this armor. Now, a nice alternative is either Scale Mail plus 1 or 2, if you can find. They're all over the place. Let's move on to the next set of equipment. Now, next up is Glove of Archery. You gain a proficiency with longbows and short bows. In addition, your ranged weapon attacks deal an additional 2 damage. Now, this is good in case you cannot, of course, find any hand crossbows, and I definitely want people to use the longbow. Garat, the Goblin Trader in the Goblin Camp Ruins in Act 1, sells this. You also kill him for it maybe, but it's best to buy. Play infiltration roll for that, trust me. Here's the alternative, Gloves of Dexterity. Your dexterity is set to 18 and you have plus 1 on attack. This is at the Get Yankee Crush in the Mountain Pass in Act 1. Now, Merchant Jira sells this, so make sure you buy everything from her that's magical and important, like these gloves, before murdering her. So let's go to next set of equipment for Act 1. For the boots, disintegrating Nightwalkers cannot be enweb, entangle, or ensnare. Can't slip on grease or ice as well. You also gain the Misty Step spell. Another one to have to use, which is very good. True Soul Near drops this in the Grim Forge, aka Underdark 2 area in Act 1. Yeah, you're going to have to murder him for it. Here's the alternative for the boots. Boots of Genial Striding, where movement speed is unimpeded by difficult terrain. Now, this is important because eventually, when you level up later on, that's the layer levels, you will definitely get the difficult trait immunity. It's good to have anyways before that. Buy this from Blurk at the Mitochondrial Colony in Underdark in Act 1. Yeah, buy all of his magical stuff. There's a lot of good gear from Act 1 from him that he does sell. Let's go over the necklaces. Moondrop Pendant. When the wearer has 50% hit points or less, they don't provoke attacks of opportunity. This is real good. So you're in trouble. Yeah, you have 50% less hit points. You can move around safely when this happens. Solve this Lunite Magic Chest puzzle in the Owlbear Cave in Act 1. Here's my advice on that. Make sure you keep Shadowheart, you guessed it, at the entrance of the cave or outside the cave, and then you solve the puzzles. This way you don't get disapproval from her. Here's the alternative, Amulet of Misty Step. Gain Misty Step spell to use. Yeah, another Misty Step use. This is in a Shatter Sanctum at True Soul's Gut Cores in Act 1. There's ways to get in the course without, of course, killing the goblin for it. So let's move on to the next one. As for rings, I have about 2 of them. Crusher Band movement speed is plus 3 meters. This adds another 3 meters per round, which is good. Steal or loot Crusher to get this in the Goblin Camp in Act 1. This is really nice ring. You want to get this. Here's another good one. Caustic Band. You deal plus 2 acid damage to foes. Deirdre's Bone Cloak sells this at the Mitochondrial Colony Underdark in Act 1. Same place where Blurg's at. So yeah, definitely clean out her inventory as well. Here's 2 alternatives. Ring of Absolute Force. Use a Thunderwave spell. If Absolute branded, you deal 1 extra damage. Thunderwave is usually 6 to 12 damage. Small AoE effect. Sergeant Thrin in the Grimforge in Act 1 drops this. You could have someone kill him, or you kill him yourself for it. Next up is the Sparks Wall. Cannot be electrocuted. Electric resistance is definitely increased. Go raid the Arcane Tower basement Underdark in Act 1. Yeah. Get everything there. There's some good stuff there. Let's move on to the weapons. I have these weapons dual wielding in case you need to do that or so here we go. Now this is the Knife of the Undermountain King, short sword plus 2. The wearer scores a critical hit when rolling a 19. This is good though for backup. When they roll 2 damage or less, they reroll the dice, taking the highest results. You have advantage on attack rolls against lightly or heavy obscure targets when using this blade. This is a nice blade to use in case you can't use range or range gives you a disadvantage. Now this is sold by Merchant Jira in the Mountain Pass Get Yankee Crash in Act 1. As I said, for clean out of inventory before doing anything else. Next up the bat is the Hunter's Dagger. This is a +1 dagger. On hit, the target must succeed a 13 DC Constitution saving throw or become ruptured. Rogue Moonglow sells this in the Shower Sanctum in Act 1. This same NPC will also sell items randomly, so you might have to do is, of course, either zone in and out or do a long rest or so to do so. Up to you if you want to go that far to get this. Here's some alternative weapons. Short Sword of First Blood deals additional 1 to 8 piercing damage to target that still have all their hit points. This is a nice starter in case you can't use your ranged weapons. Around the Underdark Beach in the Underdark area in Act 1, it's in about 2 or 3 random spots. There's one sword that has that. If you can't find anything else, go for a +1 dagger or short sword for the offhand. And then those vary, of course, throughout the act where those weapons are at. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. I'm focusing on hand crossbows. If you cannot find any, then sell for a long or short bow. In fact, go for a longbow. The Jolt Shooter is a great longbow you get by saving a certain counselor in Act 1 when the inn is burning down. So here's some ranged weapons. Hand crossbow +1, sold by Ear Damien. That's a low rate when he stocks, so it does recharge per long rest. This is at the Druid's Grove in Act 1. Or Deirdre's Bone Cloak in the Mitochondrial Colony in Underdark. Act 1 sells this as well. If you can nab yourself 2 of those, you're set for Act 1. Here's a good offhand one for, of course, your hand crossbows. Firestoker deals an additional 1 to 4 slashing damage to burning targets. This is in the Grimforge Underdark 2 in a ruined dormitory room with the Hellboars in Act 1. It has a chest in that room. That's where it's at. Yeah, you kill some Hellboars along with this not so tough foe. And that's about it for gear you want to get by the end of Act 1. So let's go over, of course, next up, endgame gear. Now, please note once again for endgame gear, if I said, for example, in Act 2, make sure you do not leave the area in Act 2 where I point you to for certain items, especially including Act 3. So let's go ahead and start with the headgear. Helm of Barian, this heals you 2 hit points per round, +1 armor class, and saving throws, cannot be stunned, cannot be critical hit against. Defeat the Wormway Trials, then defeat the boss to get this item in Act 3. Here is an alternative. The Helldusk Helm can see through normal and magical darkness, cannot be blinded at all, +2 save throws against spells, wears immune to critical hits. House of Hope in a locked room in Act 3. Yeah, you go there, loot everything up there. Here's an alternative. Mask of Soul Perception, gain a +2 bonus to the following: attack rolls, initiative rolls, and perception checks. Also gain detect thoughts like the spell, it's a bonus. And the Devil's Feed to steal in Act 3. It's upstairs. Go bypass the door by solving the puzzle, go through it, and then seal the helmet, or say mask. Let's move on. Let's go over cloaks. Shade Slayer Cloak. While hiding, the number you need to roll a critical hit while attacking is reduced by 1. So when you're in stealth, you have to roll now a 19 to 20 instead of just a 20 to get a critical hit. Sticky Dondo sells this in Lower City Sewer Skill Hall in Act 3. Play it cool with them. You have access to that shop. Here's a good alternative, Cloak of Protection, +1 AC and +1 saving throw, sold by Core Master Tally at the last light in Act 2. Raid her shop like crazy. She has some good in-game items, not for yourself, but your party as well. Here's some chest armor. So here's this one you definitely want to get. This is number 1 on your list. Armor of Agility. Add your dexterity modifier to your armor class. Additionally, this armor does not impose disadvantage on stealth ability checks. +2 saving throws. This is a very powerful armor you want. Sold by Gloomy Fenton at the Stormshore Armory in Act 3. There's another shop nearby that sells a good bow as well. Alternative, use the armor you did get at the Grim Forge in Act 1 if you cannot get this at all. Yeah, if you have that armor, go ahead and put this on as well. Now let's go over the gloves, shall we? Gloves. Bone Spike gloves. Your attack ignores resistance to the following: slashing, piercing, and blunt damage. Very powerful gloves to have. So here's the condition on how to get them. Strangle Loot drops this. Now he appears at the ambush in the understate on the way to the Temple of Baal. Here's a very important thing. You gotta loot his corpse during the battle. If you do not, it will vanish upon completing the trial. Gone for good, so you gotta be quick about it. This is in Act 3, by the way, all that. Here's an alternative, Legacy of the Masters. +2 attack and damage rolls with weapons. +1 strength saves. Damien sells this in the Act 3 Lower City shop. As long as Damien's alive, you get access to the shop, which is very good. Let's go over the boots. I still feel like the Disintegrating Nightwalkers are still best. This is still from Act 1. Now, if for some reason you get these boots, the Hell Dust boots, for this alternative, here's the following. Cannot be moved by magical means or normal means at all. In other words, cannot be shoved at all. Immune to difficult terrain. That's nice already. Just gravy. When you fail a saving throw, you can use your reaction to succeed instead. So, when, for example, you fail a wisdom saving throw, then during combat, hit that reaction, you try again. Now, this also teleports the area. When you do land, it does 2 to 6 fire damage in the area. Lord Gortash's room has this. You can either steal the key from him or kill Lord Gortash for the key to get this bad boy. Now, here are some necklaces you want to get. Amulet of Greater Health. Your Constitution is automatically set to 23. Advantage on Constitution saving throws. This is in the archives at the House of Hope in Act 3. While you're there, go ahead and get the Gauntlet of Heal Giant Strength as well. Go full 9. Here's alternative, Surgeon Subjugation Amulet. When scoring a critical hit on a humanoid, the wearer can paralyze the target for 2 rounds. Very powerful. Malice Storm drops this at the House of Healing in Act 2. You either fight him for it or have Shadowheart with you, talking Malice into killing himself. Once that happens, bada bing, bada boom, you get the item. Let's go to the next one. Now, here are some rings. So here it goes as it follows. Risky ring. Gain advantages on attack rolls, disadvantage on saves. This is the very ring you want to get. This is priority number 1 for this build. Because you have a negative attack rolls, this will actually even it up. Arajas also sells this in Act 2. She is the potion NPC that gives you the strength potion. Also sells you some stuff at the Moonrise Towers. Next up is Killer Sweetheart. When you kill a creature, your next attack roll will be a critical hit. Same trial in the Gauntlet Shard in Act 2. So kill your own duplicate, loot the ring, and then complete the trial. Simple as that. Here's 2 good alternatives I decided to list. Ring of Regeneration. At the start of combat, you regenerate 1 to 4 hit points. Roland, or if he's dead, someone else will sell this in Act 3 at the Sorcerer's Sundries. Buy this ring ASAP along with the items there. Ring of Reaction. You ignore the effects of difficult terrain. You cannot be paralyzed or restrained. The same NPC potion lady that sells you the risky ring in Act 2 at the Moonrise Towers will also sell this. Clean out her inventory. Just trust me. Let's get to the weapons. Now, please note I'm using only these weapons really just for certain things we want to do. First weapon, Chrism Mischief. This weapon deals an additional 1 to 4 piercing damage against targets with 50% of the hit points or fewer. +2 weapon. Main hand only. When you deal an advantage attack, you deal +7 piercing damage. That might work with the bow as well. It definitely works with the main hand. Now, if it's offhand, when you attack with your offhand ability, a mod gets added to the damage. So in this case, dexterity, if it's +5, like for example, it's 1d6 +5 to it, you add. Drop by Orin the Red in Act 3. Here's another weapon as well. This is a +2 enchantment weapon. This is a dagger. Number 4 critical hit need is reduced by 1. That's why we're using it for that. Now, main hand only. Foe hit with this is weak to piercing damage. So if you want to go that route, yeah, that's fine. Then you use your bow and arrows just to ping the rest. Now, offhand, when a creature misses you, you cast True Strike automatically, it seems. Reward for defeating Orin the Red. So yeah, Orin the Red has 2 good items. So let's go on to the alternatives. Now, next up the bat is Rhapsody. This is a +1 dagger, gain +1 attack rolls, and spell save DC. Max stack on this is 3 if you use it in combat by melee. Possibly inflict bleeding when hitting a creature with this weapon while hiding or invisible. Now, this is good in case we, of course, cannot use our bow and arrow at all or something like that. Caster Door drops this in Act 3. Sword of Life Stealing is a +2 short sword on critical hit. Target takes an extra 1 to 410 necro damage, that's green damage, as long as it's not undead or a construct. At the same time, you get yourself 10 temporary hit points for this. Damien sells this at the last light in Act 2. That's the main place you buy it at. Now, he might sell in Act 3 if he's still alive or so. So let's move on to the next one. Let's go over this. Once again, I am focusing on hand crossbow. If you cannot get any that's more than +1 from Act 1, then use a longbow. Definitely, yeah, the longbow I probably should suggest is the legendary one you defeat by the, I think it's Steel Watcher Titan. It's a good alternative. Here we go anyways on those. Hellfire hand crossbow. This is a +2 hand crossbow, possibly inflict burning when attacking while hiding or invisible. This is a scorching ray just like the spell. So each ray does 2 to 12 damage. So in total that is 6 to 36 damage total if you get real lucky on that. 3 crits in a row. Dropped by Ygritte in the Gauntlet of Shar in Act 2. Yeah, you don't have to kill him for it. However, it's a good idea too because the Steron has a quest related to killing him thanks to Raphael. Offhand, this is a hand crossbow +2. This is inside a wall vault in the office on the 2nd floor of Lady Janet's estate in Act 3. That's where the artist is at, so go up there on the 2nd floor after clearing out some ghosts and such, and steal what's inside the, I should say, wall vault. Here's a good backup. Never miss her. +1 hand crossbow, magic missile just like the spell. Recharges on short rest, sold by Rogue, Moonglow, in the Moonrise Towers in Act 2. That is the little halfling that sells some decent stuff. Clean out that halfling's inventory. That's about it for endgame gear. Let's go ahead and talk about next is potions, elixirs, and oils. Now, I'm going to go ahead and separate each of the potions, oils, and elixirs in their own category. And yeah, you definitely want to use a lot of poisons, especially the best ones against tougher foes. So let's start off with potions first. I'm going to go over the potions. So here's the deal. Healing potions of all types are a must. You don't have Shadowheart in a party or else she's down. Well, those are the only way to heal your hit points. Potion of Haste is a 1 OP potion. Gain extra action, +2 AC, advantage on dexterity saving throws, and double movement speed. Now, there's a after effect that lowers all that, but that's alright. It'll give you about 2 rounds, enough for you to quickly kill certain foes, especially bosses. Potion of Flying is very good, same as the fly spell. Potion of Invisibility is great. It makes yourself invisible for 10 rounds. Any action except for movement will break this. Honorable mention also of potion vaulting. This way you jump higher and such. So let's go on to the elixirs. Now, please note, just remember that elixirs, you can have only 1 at a time. So let's go over the Elixir of Vigilance. Gains a +5 bonus to initiative, and you cannot be surprised. This is really useful because more initiative you have, more you have your turn up more than any other, especially with the assassin. Anyone that's behind you on their turns who are enemies, they take extra damage, which is good. Elixirs of Viciousness increase your chance to land a critical hit, so it's usually -1 critical hit. So instead of 20 you roll, now it's 19 to 20. It's stacked with the other items. Elixir of Bloodlust. Upon killing your foe, you gain 5 extra hit points. These are temporary, and an extra bonus action to abuse. So let's go to oils. Now, first up for the oils, oils of accuracy, coat your weapon, of course, with it. Also, you coat your bow, bonus of +2 in attack rolls. This is really good, especially with the -5 attack penalty. Now, you only have to worry about -3. Now, another one's Wizardbane oil. Now, when you coat this on your bow, or I say hand crossbows, it targets receives a -3 penalty to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, and disadvantage on saving throws for maintaining concentration spell for 2 turns. So you hit a wizard with this, and then laugh at them. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the advice one more time. Use any and all poisons on your weapons in case your hand crossbows or longbows. Especially the purple worm toxin. Use that against bosses as long as they're not immune to poison. You have an edge against them. Now that's about it for potions, elixirs, and oils. Let's do the combat test. I'm going to go ahead and do some combat tests now. This one's from Act 1. My character's level 5. And we're going to demonstrate right now before we're becoming assassins. So you see Dread Ambush is very OP and deadly. Alright, took out one foe. There we go. We just took out the alarm. And let's go ahead and do Ensnaring Strike. Now we set the tone in battle where we almost clear half the enemies already with a Steron. So in other words, we're like really powerful. Oh wow, we just cleared that fool out. And let's see what else I could do. Okay, we can't do anything else. We'll just do Hunter's Mark to help out our party. Yeah, you're going to get a little bit slow starts like this or medium starts, and other times you're going to hit everything in sight. Now, unfortunately, I did not have a hand crossbow. I found out those later on. Still, our party members are kicking some serious butt, and my paladin's missing, but still. Steron set the tone by killing the front gate, which is really good. And if he was, I'd say, assassin, a little bit of a, I should say, definitely Gloom Stalker, like 6 and I say 3 and 3, yeah, he would have done much better. But still, he's still very powerful and OP. So yeah, with this build, sometimes you want to set the tone of the fight, so this way things will automatically definitely go your way. Other times you just want to set up things so this way your other party members could start killing as well. Let me try getting close. Okay, I cannot do that. That's all right. Let me try this again. Try that and hit him with that. And okay, critical miss. That's all right. What we'll have to do is skip Lizelle. I think she's all right. Or I could try that again. And nope. Let's end the turn there. And then I'll definitely do next is Shadowheart. After that, I'm going to show you one more time a Steron how much damage he could do since his turn will be next. Well, that's an assassin, but still he'll do a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and mark this fool. Okay, this fool's just been marked. Now we could just definitely go do some nice damage. Watch. Ping. Okay, we missed. We'll hit him again. Since we have 2 attacks per round as a ranger. Yeah, it's doing it. It's a little bit slow. Patch 6 messed things up. And voila, we just got 1 kill. Our paladin should finish things off. And that's about it for Act 1. As soon as I definitely get the killing blow. Let's... Okay, you're missing a lot, buddy. That's all right. That's it. Let's go on to, you guessed it, Act 2. I will do Act 3 one later on. That's towards the end of the video. But for now, we have our combination of the Gloom Stalker and Assassin. And now it's our turn ahead time, so we're going to do a lot of damage. So just watch the damage fly. With just 2 hits, we're taking out a fool. Let's do that again. And, oh, wow, we're getting some hits going. So this is very good. So we almost got that side cleared. Let's try that again. Let's see if I can take that out. Yep. We just got 1 foe left, enough for a paladin to do some serious damage or get to the other side. Oh, wait a second. I forgot he had the bow. I was doing some switching around. And voila. Okay, we took out 1 foe thanks to setting up, of course, from Steron. I'm trying to get everything else there. Nope. If not, I'm going to demonstrate right now on, you guessed it, how Shadowheart and Will finish off the foes, and then the Steron, of course, doing the rest. Still, with this combination setup, if you're forced into a no surprise encounter like I was, you're still going to do good damage thanks to Dread Ambusher. Now, if you start surprising your foe, on the other hand, yeah, guess what, everyone? Your damage will be really up there. It'll be soaring sky high. That's all I'm going to go ahead and say. Let me go ahead and put invisible on this imp. Kind of wish I had the other closet shovel. Yeah, shovel kicks some serious booty. Let me try to move over a bit so this way I can cast some fireball without, of course, hitting my paladin square in the face. Let's go ahead and do that. That should take care of that. And there, another orb's down. Now I start the battle off just taking out almost one side. Now, good news is the I just took out another side, and yeah, I'm setting the tone that yeah, a round and a half, this battle should be definitely over and done with. Let me make sure I do this right with Flame Strike. If I miss anything, that's all right. And there we go. Let's go back, of course, after the turns are up. Yeah, look at these other foes. They're just coming towards the orb at this point. Yeah, this is going to be game over for the Guardians of the Gauntlet of Shar. Yeah, just summon one, but guess what? We got advantages, so let's go ahead and see if I could definitely do that. Okay, I cannot do any more of the other ones, but that's all right. Let's see. Okay, path interrupted. I'll take care of that. Watch. Yeah, see the critical hit there? We're about to take that fool out and take then this one out. And that's about it. Now, Paladin, once again, should finish everything off. Once that happens, then I will definitely give some final advice for this build. And here we go on this, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and give some quick advice before I do go while I'm taking out this Steel Watcher by myself as a Steron. So definitely when you're both the Assassin and the Gloom Stalker, go for surprise attacks. If not, definitely sell for the Dread Ambush your first round and use up many arrows as possible. Speaking of arrows, you definitely want to do is use the Slayer types depending on which foe. Use the best Slayer type arrows on your toughest foe or bosses. Another thing as well, just listen to my gear advice and always use potions, elixirs, and oils. Tadpole Powers help out as well. Definitely take advantage of your terrain and such. That'll help you out greatly. And do take advantage of, one more time, I'm going to go ahead and say this, any of the permanent stat boosts. This is it from my Baldur's Gate 3, Deathstalker Archer, Ranger, Gloom Stalker, Rogue, Assassin build videos. So Fenton signing off. Thanks for watching and have a great day or night. And do please stay safe. Please subscribe to my channel for more classic and modern Dungeons & Dragons walkthroughs, builds, guides, and more just like this. If you like what you see, then go ahead and pick my suggestion on the upper left-hand corner or YouTube suggestion on the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to go ahead and relax in this nice chair.